For years, we've all thought of Nvidia as the undisputed king of AI hardware, right? They're the ones building the powerhouse chips that make all of this AI magic happen. But what they're planning next, it's on a whole other level. They're not just trying to sell the parts anymore, they're aiming to build the entire operating system for enterprise AI. Okay, let's really get into this.
So, this whole story kicks off with this new kind of thing called claws. Now, forget about the chatbots you're used to, the ones that just sit there and wait for your next command. That's not what these are. Think of claws as truly autonomous AI agents. You give them a big, complicated goal, and they just figure it out. They map out all the steps and execute them one by one, all on their own, right there on your own machine.
But with that kind of power comes a whole new world of risk. And this isn't some science fiction scenario, this actually happened. A Meta AI researcher had her own agent go completely rogue and just wipe her entire inbox. That one incident sent an absolute shockwave through the AI community. It perfectly captures the problem here, doesn't it? You've got this incredible jaw-dropping capability on one hand and terrifying unpredictability on the other.
So how in the world did we get here so fast? Well, this whole thing kicked off an absolute revolution in AI. And believe it or not, it all started with just one developer and one project that just blew up. It all started with a tool called OpenClaw, built by a developer named Peter Steinberger. And this wasn't some little tech demo or a toy project. No, this thing was a real workhorse. It could manage your calendar, book your flights, handle your emails, all by itself. And when people saw that, they got it. They immediately saw the potential, and the whole thing went viral almost overnight.
And the sheer scale of this explosion is it's mind-boggling, especially when you look at the numbers. I mean, remember, this was a project built by just one person. It racked up 210,000 stars on GitHub. To put that in perspective, that puts it in the same league as something like React, a tool that modern web development is literally built on. And the adoption rate was just off the charts.
In less than 2 months, developers had already created 1.5 million of these autonomous agents. Just let that number sink in for a second. This wasn't some niche little tool for a few hobbyists. No, this was the beginning of a massive grassroots movement. But all of that excitement out in the open created a total nightmare for corporations behind closed doors.
Right. Because while all these individuals were playing around and experimenting, you can bet that security chiefs in every company everywhere were absolutely losing their minds. They just saw this unregulated, unpredictable, brand new technology running wild, and it was creating a full-blown security crisis for them.
So what was their number one fear? By a long shot, it was data leakage. A staggering 83% of enterprise leaders say this is their top concern. I mean, just imagine an autonomous agent with the keys to the kingdom, with access to all of your company's most sensitive documents. You can see why this stuff keeps them up at night.
And coming in at a very close second is the fear of overprivileged access. 80% see it as a huge barrier. Think about it. What happens when an agent that's just supposed to book travel somehow gets access to your HR system or your company's financial records? The potential for catastrophic damage is just enormous.
Okay, so here's the bottom line. You have this massive, proven, hungry demand for AI agents. But at the same time, businesses have absolutely no safe, secure, or manageable way to actually use them. And whenever you see a gap that huge between what people want and what they can safely get, well, you've got a massive market opportunity just sitting there, waiting for someone to come up with a solution.
And right into that gap, who steps in? You guessed it, Nvidia. They've been watching this whole thing play out, and they've cooked up a really comprehensive 3-layer master plan. And the goal isn't just to solve the problem, it's to completely dominate the entire ecosystem that grows out of it. Their strategy is a classic tech stack play, and it's built in 3 really distinct layers. Down at the very bottom, you've got the foundation. That's their chips, the market they already own. Then in the middle, there's a bridge layer, which is all their software and models. And then at the very top, the layer that matters most here, the control layer. And that's where they plan to set the rules for how all of these agents are going to run.
So let's drill down a little bit. We can see the actual products that make up each layer. You've got the new Blackwell GPUs at the foundation. Then you have the Nemo toolkit and their Nemotron models acting as that bridge. And then the crown jewel of the whole strategy, right at the top, NemoClaw. This is their direct answer to that enterprise security crisis.
And you have to understand, with the launch of NemoClaw, Nvidia isn't just dropping another product into the market. Oh no, they are officially declaring war. This marks the beginning of a huge battle for control over what the future of AI is actually going to look like.
And you can really see the battle lines drawn when you put these two side by side.
OpenClaw, which is now owned by OpenAI, is all about the consumer, the individual user. It's driven by the community. NemoClaw, on the other hand, is built from the ground up for the enterprise. Its security isn't just some feature they bolted on. It's baked in at the operating system level. It's a direct, point-by-point answer to every single fear that those business leaders have.
And really, this all boils down to a fundamental conflict, a classic tech showdown we've seen play out time and time again. Is the future going to be built inside a closed, proprietary walled garden like the one OpenAI is building? Or is it going to be built on an open but super secure, enterprise-grade standard, which is what Nvidia is pushing for?
So let's just zoom out for a second, because the stakes here are even higher than just winning the AI agent market. What Nvidia is really trying to do, their ultimate endgame, is to build the definitive operating system for all of enterprise AI. And why are the stakes so high? Well, just follow the money. We're looking at a market that's projected to shoot up from about $8.5 billion in 2026 to over $45 billion by 2030. Winning control of the foundational platform in a market of that size, that's the kind of move that defines a company for decades to come.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is their own stated goal. This entire strategy is designed, and I'm quoting here, to position Nvidia as the foundational architect of this new world. They don't just want a piece of the pie, they want to be the ones who wrote the recipe.
So look, there is no question about it. The AI agent era has arrived. The technology is here, and the demand is absolutely undeniable. The only real question left is, who's going to set the rules for this new world? Is it going to be built on open standards that anyone can build on and contribute to, or will it be controlled from behind the closed walls of one company's proprietary ecosystem? The winner of that battle is going to shape the future of technology for a very, very long time.